War is awesome. It's going to make me rich. Just kidding. I do not like war. I'm against war. However, I do want to protect my assets during wartime. I'm going to tell you how I do that right now. So war can actually be very tough on the economy. War is costly. It costs money to make military machines. It costs money to pay for soldiers. It costs lives, which is the worst thing it costs. And all of these things can affect the way that markets go. It can affect the way that the economy moves. When a lot of money is put towards war, the only people who really profit are those who make all of the war machines and anybody who invests in such things. There are some other alternative areas to invest that also can be profitable. Now, nothing that I say on here is investment advice, so please do your own research and understand that risking your money on markets inherently risky. You can lose all your money doing that, so talk to a licensed professional. I'm just going to talk about some of the ways that I protect my own assets. The two key ways that I protect them are going to be safe havens like gold. I also have some quote-unquote bets on Bitcoin. Very obviously, you all know that about me. Anybody who's been following me knows that. However, if we take a look at the military-industrial complex, that is one place where money can be made. Now, of course, this is not a moral conversation, right? But you have to look at what's going on in the world. Over in Gaza, it doesn't look like things are cooling off. And I've read some reports that the IDF has pulled out of Gaza City. That's the Israel Defense Force pulling out of Gaza City. However, I've also heard reports that they are leaving some special operatives in. And of course, there are many other battles going on besides just in Gaza City. So I don't think that war is cooling off right now. I hope it does cool off. I hope it ends. I hope all wars end forever. I just don't see that happening. It doesn't seem, at least at this point, like that's happening. So what am I going to do if I want to invest in stocks? Well, if I were to be the kind to invest in stocks, I might look at military-industrial complex stocks. Right now, you can see a chart. It says where NATO defense expenditure stands. This is on Statista, which is a great website. It seems like it is politically neutral, apolitical, if you will. It's more about money and statistics. And if you look here, you see where NATO defense expenditure stands. You see in 2015 dollars, right? So it's basically they've taken away the inflationary aspect so you can see a comparative amount of expenditure. And the whole idea, of course, was that nations in NATO should be spending, I think it's, what did they say, 2% of their GDP on defense? I think that was like kind of the agreement. 2 or 0.02, let's see what it says here, 2%. That was a concept, right, back in 14. So the U.S. actually spends the most, 3.49%. You can see in the far right, and if you look at it, it's nearly $1 trillion, about 750 billion is what it's been gone to, and it has raised in the last 9 years, according to this. Germany, France, Poland is increasing quite a lot. Germany is increasing quite a lot. The Brits, not so much, but the point is that the United States spends a lot, and Poland has a fair percentage here. Looks like Greece, Finland, Romania, Hungary, but what we're concerned about right now are U.S., right? And so some of the stocks that we can look at in this realm, we're going to go over to Live Trading News. This is a really great website. They may have some political ideas, but let's look at the actual stocks as opposed to what people are thinking politically. And it says here, stocks to own. As the U.S. ramps up the military-industrial complex, we have LMT, NOC, BA, RTX, GD. We'll get into who those are. Here it is explained. The military-industrial complex, power, profits, perpetual war. It talks about how the government, military, and defense industry work together, right? So to keep this really simple, the government creates the spending programs, right? The military, including active duty personnel, advocates for continued funding and expansion of the armed forces. The defense industry manufactures and sells the weapons, vehicles, and tech, lobbies for increased defense spending, often citing national security concerns to justify new contracts and programs. So the cycle of the military-industrial complex, you got the defense spending. Government allocates a significant portion of its budget to military spending driven by perceived threats, international conflicts, and political pressure. A lot of that going on right now. 2, weapons development. Defense contractors use these funds to develop new weapon systems and technologies, often relying on lucrative government contracts to stay afloat. 3, military justification. The military establishment pushes forward the deployment of these new weapons, arguing that they are necessary to maintain technological edge and deter potential adversaries. Fair amount of deployment and testing of new things, new items, new military weapons in Ukraine from things I have heard. I was not there. I cannot confirm nor deny. 4, increased threats. Military interventions and conflicts can raise tensions, fuel propaganda, and create new perceived threats, justifying further defense spending and weapon development. Lots of that going on, that's for sure, right now, right? We had Ukraine. Now we got Israel. We got more than that. We got the Red Sea. We got Yemen. Go ahead and take a look at my show from a day or two ago about the U.S. strike on the Houthis in Yemen. That actually outlines a couple of different areas in the Red Sea with which we should be concerned, which also brings me to just a quick brief mention of oil. Oil is one place to go. I think oil may go up if tensions continue further, and I think tensions will continue further, and I really hope I'm wrong about that. So alternatives to war that I have to mention, because this is where I come in and what I believe in: profit over peace, limited accountability, and technological escalation. These are some of the issues that many take with the military-industrial complex. And go over to livetradingnews.com to go over what these are, what they mean, because we're not going to have enough time to go over them in this video. Some of it's pretty self-explanatory, though. Diplomacy and peace building is an alternative to the military-industrial complex. Demilitarization, transparency, and accountability. Okay, these are all things that are the alternatives to fighting wars, which I am for these things, right? Okay, I'm also for protecting myself financially. And this is just a video there of Dwight Eisenhower, I believe, talking about the military-industrial complex and the dangers that it can pose. I don't necessarily think it's all bad. I mean, we have to be able to defend ourselves. We just want to make sure we're not instigating just so we can have battles, right? So we can make money. That's bad. But being able to defend ourselves, developing weaponry that would allow us to do that, I do not have a problem with that. These companies are not all bad. We want to maybe do away with some of this black and white thinking that we have in the world. That said, let's go ahead and take a look at these stocks. Lockheed Martin, we'll look at Northrop Grumman, Boeing, and we'll look at Raytheon if we have time, or General Dynamics. I also want to take a look at Palantir and CACI. These are intelligence outfits, if you will. So let's look at Lockheed Martin. I looked at Kachi already, and here's my look at Kachi. It's on a tear up. We'll start here because it's on the chart. It's really moving up hard and has been doing so since 2020. Actually, quite frankly, it's done nothing but that since, say, 2013. It was really kind of hanging out below $68 until 2013, and now it's 5 times that. So, and I don't see this one slowing down. It's on a very clear upward trend, right? Higher highs, higher lows. If I were to draw that out, let's do that real quick so we can see that, right? Higher high, higher low. This kind of took a minute to get to a higher high. Now we're at a higher low here, and it looks like it will continue. And I drew a fib level here. I drew basically a Fibonacci extension. And if you're in Algo Factory, you'll know a little bit more about that. But I drew a Fibonacci extension based on this impulse. Now, if I were looking to buy into something like this, I would want to buy in as close to maybe 313, just based on this chart, based on world events. It could go lower. Another good place might be in the low 300s, like 305, 306. And then anything I think below current price is a decent buy, I think. Price could kind of go down a bit, but I do think, just based on my algos here, all that crazy stuff in the bottom, and even more than that, I think it is going to continue up. Now, what I might do in that case, if I were to buy something like this, is I might buy it, whether I bought it down here or up here, and then maybe sell a bit around 354, sell a little bit here. Now, if it broke above that, I might get back in, or if I was super confident that prices were going to continue up, I wouldn't sell anything at that. I would actually just let it keep going. Now, I might sell some here at this fib level at about just below that, around 378. 377, and I might sell some again at about 398 or so. 400 is going to be a psychological level, and it's a fib extension for the 618. So I know that kind of fib talk, 618, 272, that's a lot of technical stuff. I wouldn't worry about that. If you're new to trading, that's actually a very simple concept that we teach in Algo Factory. We teach it very quickly, and you'll learn it in like 10 minutes. Palantir is also in an uptrend, and as you can see, I marked out some levels on it. But if you're just to look at the trend, it's popped up here, come down here, made a higher low, now it's made a higher high, and it may make a higher low. It might even make it right where it is, but I get the feeling it might sink down just a little bit lower. So for me, if I were to buy into Palantir, let me take a look at this. If I were to buy Palantir, I'm not quite as safe with that as I am with Kachi, but or CACI. I call it Kachi because some Italian background, but I think price is going to hang out where it is, maybe a little bit lower and then bounce up. It could go from 16 to 20, which is phenomenal. That's what, 25% gain if I were to take some profit. It could actually continue further by this fib extension. We could see it go all the way to 24 or even 26.50 or so. That might be some areas to take profit, but I think it's a decent buy right now. Again, it could go a little bit lower. I think as close to 14.50 as possible is probably like a super good buy. I just don't know that it's going to make it down there. It could. It's possible. It could make it down towards that level, and I wouldn't buy it until my algo told me that I could buy it. But if price made it down there, I would take a look at my algo. If my algo said buy it, I would buy it. And then I'd look to sell some at 21, maybe 23, 24, and then maybe like 26.50. Let's take a look at Lockheed Martin. And Lockheed Martin is pretty bullish. If I were to buy Lockheed, I was looking at this chart earlier and you can see how it's just kind of ranging. It's going between roughly 385 all the way up to like say 490, maybe 495. So that's a range that is bouncing back and forth. And if I were to buy it, ideally I'd look for price to go back down to the bottom of that. I just don't know if it's going to do that. I think it's on the way up. So I might actually buy some and I'd have a stop loss perhaps. Let's see, if I were to buy it now, I might wait, but if I didn't, I'd have a stop loss. I get out of the trade if it went below 430, maybe 431. And then I look to sell some. I don't know if I like, honestly, I don't know if I want to buy it right now. I think it's going to go up to maybe as high as 490, and then it might find some trouble there. But if I were in for like a longer term move, then yeah, I would be okay to buy this. I would hope to get it closer to like 395. It just might not do that. So what I might do is look for price to break above these highs, possibly come back down and then buy some around 490. And then, perhaps price might make its way up to, let's see, maybe sell some at 550, maybe at 618. So again, it's pretty bullish though on the high time frame. So I did look at this earlier and I think it is going to go up. Perhaps people who are like day trading could look at some opportunities. Again, you got to do your own research here, but I do think it is going to go from 460 up to 488, say 465 to 488. But to find some stop losses in there, that might be a little bit tricky. The price might go down and catch you out. So it's kind of tricky on that. Boeing's taken a hit because of the 737 MAX. And I think price might make its way down to this 183 or even the 145 level. They have some things they need to fix. Their planes are grounded, their reputation's hurt, but they may magically get a contract for something military to get them out of their hole. And that might happen all the way down at the even lower, maybe the low 100s, maybe the mid 100s. But I think price is going to at least go to 180. So as price crosses 180 and 145, I might look for my algos to see it turning around. And if it did turn around, I might buy some and then look to sell it at one of these highs here, probably sell some around, say, maybe 250 or so. So I look to kind of buy down here and sell up here depending on contracts. Like Boeing has to have a reputation repair and they have to maybe get some contracts and go from there. So at any rate, that's my look at some of these companies. I hope it's helpful. I hope war stops. I hope I don't have opportunities to make money like this. I don't even know if I would, but I figured I would go over some stocks and, see what that looked like. So we didn't do the whole like, subscribe thing. We did some graphics, but, it went straight into the content. So, at this point, I would say, please like, subscribe, follow, and we hope to see you in the next video. Bye now. All right, thanks for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed the show. Come visit us over at our website. You see it on the screen right there. There's also YouTube, Twitter, aka X, TikTok, Rumble. You can zap that QR code or take you straight to the website. I am very active over on Twitter/X. Also, we are live. That's Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. EST, right up to 9 a.m. EST. Come stop by, talk to us on YouTube, ask us questions. We're happy to help you out for free. Hope to see you there.